Hey everybody, this video is to give you a summary and details on the supplements that I am currently taking. Just like everybody else, or at least every guy that I know that started in the gym, the first thing you do is you go out and you buy muscle magazines from the grocery store, and in those magazines you are led to believe that by taking these magic pills and powders that you'll look like the people that are in the magazines. So those magazines are 90% advertisement, if not 100%. And they, just like everybody else, everyone starts out the same. Every time I would get a new one and see a new powder or pill, I would go out and get it and think that it would help me, well, depending on what it is, that it would help me look like the guys in the magazine. Nothing gets you close to what they look like. The only thing that I know of that might get you down that track is hard work. But these are supplements, and by definition, supplements don't take the place of whole food. So you should be getting all your macronutrients from whole food, and as many micronutrients as you can from whole food. And until you are able to do that, you shouldn't consider taking supplements for the most part. These that I take are things that to make sure that I get all my micronutrients and as many vitamins and minerals as I can, and to help convenience wise get in all the protein that I need for the day, because sometimes it's difficult. We all have busy days, and sometimes it's difficult to get all your meals in, and eating a lot of protein is difficult. So these items help me do all those things. So number one is my protein powder here. Out of all the proteins that I've tried, and I've tried quite a few of them, this is the only powder that I find that is low in carbs. It has 3 carbs per serving, and is also low in fat. It has 1.5 grams per serving, and 24 grams of protein per serving. That's pretty, well, depending on what you get, that could be on the high side. A good amount per scoop. But it's the only one that has all those 3 characteristics. Also, it tastes good. It's relatively inexpensive. Protein powder isn't cheap, but it's cheaper than chicken breast. But you should be trying to consume whole sources of protein before you start supplementing with protein powder. But it's relatively inexpensive, and it mixes well. So this is the only powder that I have tried that has all those characteristics. You can find some that are a lot tastier, but they're higher in carbs and fat. Or you can find some that are low in carbs and fat, high in protein, that don't taste that good and don't mix well. And by mixing well, I mean you can throw it in a shaker cup without any shaker balls or any of those fancy devices you put in the shaker cups to help mix the protein, and it mixes up fine. It's not gritty and it's not clumpy. So I use that just in case, or in the event that I can't have a meal and I don't want to go a long time without eating. I take 2 scoops of that, maybe a banana, or if I need something quick in the morning, it'll be 2 servings of minute oats, because those get soft easy in cold water, with 2 scoops of protein, and that's 50 grams of carbs and 50 grams of protein that you can digest in a cup on the go. So by no means is that the best or the only protein that is fits all those characteristics. You can find cheaper ones, but again, they may not taste as good as this guy. But that's what I use, because I found that serves the purpose that I need. And I also take, by the same company, It's not a plug by any means, but I used to take animal pack, and those are a handful of horse pills. These are relatively large pills, but you only need 3 of them for a serving. And sorry, I'm looking down at my monitor here, make sure I get this in the shot. Take 3 of them. I mean, they go down. I mean, I used to take the animal pack, shove them all in my mouth and drink some water and get them down. So that's really not a large size for me. But it has, not only does it have a lot of micronutrients that everyone needs. If you get in your basic multivitamin, it also has some that are specific to bodybuilding or weight training in general, and it has a lot of male specific vitamins and minerals in it. That's why it's called OptiMen. They also have an OptiWomen, but the breakdown of what it has is pretty good. Again, you only have to take 3. They suggest you take 2 servings of 3 if you're working out pretty hard, but I take this knowing that I'm going to get a bulk of my vitamins and minerals from whole food, and I just use this to make sure I tie up all the loose ends. So get yourself a good multivitamin. That's something, everyone has their opinion on multivitamins. We can discuss their pros and cons and if they're necessary or not, but I better safe than sorry. That's why I take a multivitamin. And then I have 2 omega supplements here. This is a flax oil, and this is fish oil, right? Everyone's favorite. This is an old-fashioned kind. This is probably one of the best ones out there. I take this just straight off a tablespoon at night, and then this one I squirt into my oatmeal. So you want to make sure you get all your omegas in. If you follow a low-fat diet for a prolonged period of time, from what I've read, it hinders fat loss because you need a certain amount of fat for hormone balance, and a lot of vitamins are fat soluble. So you can be taking this guy, and because your diet is low in fat, or if you're on a bro bodybuilding diet, as little fat, almost zero, you're not getting the vitamins you're taking in because they need fat to be digested and broken down. So hormone, and in general, you shouldn't be afraid of fat. And this isn't a video on macronutrients, but just in general, especially men shouldn't be afraid of fat or saturated fat. You should be getting good sources, nuts and eggs, and even dairy, taken in moderation, depending on what your macros are, is a good source of protein, carbs, and fat. Testosterone is made out of cholesterol, and you get that from saturated fat. So men specifically men should not be afraid of taking in fat. It should be good, right? Hamburgers and pizza, should not be your primary source of fat, but a red steak or a couple of eggs in the morning, or supplementing with an omega oil is encouraged for men to help get their hormones in balance, help them to digest the fat soluble vitamins and minerals. So that's what I take. Cut it down quite a bit. I used to take a lot more, again, because I was believing the hype, and unfortunately the only thing that works, the only magic pill is hard work, and keeping track of your progress and being consistent in the gym. You should also be consistent in your eating. Muscle is made outside of the gym, not in the gym, and these supplements that I've laid out here are just to tie up all the loose ends and to patch up all the holes that you may have in your diet. If you're not, it's impossible to get macro and micronutrients down to the gram. So this stuff just helps patch in all the gaps. Thanks a lot for watching. If you guys want any information on what these are, I'll leave the links in the description or in the blog post. And if you have anything that you think is an essential supplement that people should take, go ahead and leave a comment, and we can discuss in the comments why you think that. And I'll have more information for you guys in other videos. Like, share, and subscribe. And thanks a lot for watching.